The Deputy Governor challenges Catholic Laity Council of Nigeria to reach out to the less privileged. Eket Ibonna Road to be completed by June next year. The wife of the state governor undertakes thank you tour of Etimeku, Ukanafun, and Aropanam local government areas. Details shortly. Good morning and thanks for joining us. It's Channel 45 News at Dawn, and I am Akaniye Ubwa. Governor Mr. Moses Ekpo has reminded the Catholic laity of preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ and reaching out to the less privileged in the society. The Deputy Governor gave the reminder when members of the Catholic Laity Council of Nigeria visited him in Government House Review. Patience John reports that the Catholic Laity Council used the occasion to intimate the Deputy Governor on Council's annual conference. Her report is here presented.
The Deputy Governor, Mr. Moses Ekpo, appreciated the Council for the visit and for the show of solidarity for the state government. He advised them to continue to work in the vineyard of God by propagating the gospel and taking care of the less privileged in the society. Mr. Moses Ekpo acknowledged their selfless services over the years by touching lives and ameliorating the plight of others through their services and programs. He called on them to continue to pray for the state government to enable it to deliver on its mandate and promised to support the council to enable it execute its programs.
A lot of our people, men and women in the church, along with the bishops, to bring Christ to us wherever we are in this country. You are doing a good job, and I want to thank you for this.
The president of the Catholic Laity Council of Nigeria, Chizoba Nabo, said the visit was to congratulate Mr. Moses Ekpo on his emergence as the deputy governor and to remind him to maintain his faith in God. Mr. Nabo thanked God for the peaceful elections which led to the swearing in of Governor Udom Emmanuel and commended him for working hard to meet the needs of the people. The president assured the deputy governor that the laity council and the church are praying for the state government to succeed in their responsibilities. He informed Mr. Ekpo of the forthcoming annual conference of the council and the 2016 National Laity Week in March next year.
We are looking forward to that great event. Because of the uniqueness of the team, the council has integrated medical mission and other corporal works of mercy, like Feed the Hungry, program, event, which we eagerly, are preparing.
The wife of the state governor, Mrs. Martha Udom Emmanuel, has met with the women of Atimebu, Ukanafun, and Aropanam local government areas. She was accompanied on a thank you tour by the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Glory Edith, wife of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and other eminent women. Eyake Nopo was there.
Early in the morning, the women of the Atimebu local government area were already at the council hall with different cultural displays to welcome the governor's wife and her entourage. On spotting the vehicle conveying the governor's wife, the women went into jubilation as they displayed titillating dance steps to thrill the team. After the fanfare, the wife of transition chairman Mrs. Udemuwa, her husband Godsonwa, Lady Dorothy Ekpo-Udom, Mrs. Anne Noidem, PDP woman leader, appreciated the governor's wife for the successes recorded by her husband in just 6 months in office and appealed for more empowerment for women. Mrs. Martha Udom Emmanuel, while addressing the gathering, thanked the women of Atimebu for their show of love and promised to establish a cassava processing mill and oil mill in the area to improve their living standard. The team later moved to Ukanafun local government and were received by the wife of transition chairman Mrs. Ekaite Samuel Udoko Mbongiban and the political class. At Ukanafun, several people, including the chairman transition committee, pledged their unalloyed support to the present administration.
As you visit us today, we the women of Okanafu wish to register our unflinching support to your husband's administration, even as we pledge to support your paid project in Okanafu local government area.
At Oruwanam, it was a homecoming for the governor's wife, as women in the area sang different songs to appreciate God for answering their prayers, which saw Udom Emmanuel emerging as the governor and Martha as the first lady.
As a people, we are united behind you in the case to making sure that you remain the first lady of Akwa Ibom State for 4 years and for 8 years.
Today shall never be forgotten in a hurry because of the uniqueness associated with this homecoming.
Our Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State.
The governor's wife appreciated them for the reception accorded her. The women also reciprocated the governor's wife's gesture by presenting her gift and souvenir. Iyageno Paul reporting.
The Ekadebona Road project is to be completed by June next year. The State Commissioner for Works, Ms. Ephraim Yangayen, stated this while inspecting the road project. The Commissioner, accompanied by principal officers in the ministry, expressed delight at the progress of work on the road project, which include construction of 2 bridges and water channel system. Ms. Yangayen commended the contractor CCECC for doing a good job and the people of the community for creating an enabling environment for the contractor to operate. The Commissioner appealed to owners of affected structures on the road to follow due procedure for payment of compensation in order not to hinder the progress of work on the road. Mr. Yangayen said the Ekadebona Road will link Ibona to Uyo with components such as drainage, solar street light, and accelerated lane.
On this Ekadebona Road, when we came here about September, not much impact was on the Ridge Road. There was not much progress. And we directed the contractors that we will return in November. And we wanted to see certain things done. I'm proud to announce to Akwa Ibom people and the Ibino community today that they have met our expectation.
The people of Ibona, who spoke through their leader, Chief William Obong Daniel Afia, expressed appreciation to the state government for re-awarding contract for the road project, describing the state governor as a promise keeper who is fulfilling his campaign promises. The commissioner also inspected work at a Tabong Road, with structures that compensation have been paid are being demolished, and a Car Community Secondary School or Carford in Uyo. Mr. Yangayen, however, frowned at the attitude of some people who erect structures such as tombstones on the road and ordered the removal of such structures. The Works Commission also paid homage to the paramount ruler of Ibona local government area, Wong Changa, at his palace, where he briefed the paramount ruler and members of the traditional council and Governor Udom's agenda for the state. Responding, the paramount ruler of Ibona, Wong Changa, lauded the commission to the state government for constructing Ibona Road. He, however, appealed to the state government to patronize indigenous contractors. Earlier, the commissioner met with the State House of Assembly Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Public Petition, where he presented reports on compensation paid to property owners affected by road construction. The state government has solicited for support of the people to enable it fulfill its electioneering promises. The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Victor Antai, sought for the people's support during his tour of Itu and Uyo local government areas. Livingstone Daniel now reports.
Section of the people of Itu local government at the council hall in Bagitam, the commissioner said in a democratic system of government, the people are accorded high premium if the government must succeed. Hence, the local government to sensitize the people on government policies and programs. Accompanied by the permanent secretary in the ministry, Mr. Oliver Udokbo, Mr. Antai appealed to the people to key into the Dakota philosophy of the present administration, which is the spiritual and moral birth for greatness. He tells the people on the need to maintain peace and protect government facility in their area in order for government to provide more dividends of democracy to them.
So now, why from today? Let us aim for the skies. Let us change our orientation. There is evolve our ways of doing things. Let us bring in new innovations.
At Uyo Traditional Rulers Council building, venue for the event for Uyo local government, the commissioner said that the Uduma administration will transform Akwa Ibom from a civil service state to an industrialized state. He listed the construction of second runway and cargo facility at the Ibom International Airport, Ibom Deep Seaport, and construction of roads across the state as some steps taken by the governor to open up the state for investment.
Udo is building a second runway that the biggest airplane can land. The Boeing 777 can land on that second runway. Airbus 360 can land. Cargo handling, although big business. Cargo handling and creating, although business that they will create a lot of employment.
The Transitional Committee Chairman of Itu local government, Mr. Kun Etimokun, and his counterpart in Uyo local government, Dr. Grace Imepo, represented by the Council Secretary, Elder Imokun, pledged their support for Dom Emmanuel's revolution. Livingstone Daniel.
A new Central Park Management Committee has been constituted by the Ministry of Transport to man the affairs of the 5 government-approved parks in Uyo Metropolis. The committee has Mr. Manis Edi, as chairman, Mr. Joe Fong as vice chairman, while Israel Udofia is the treasurer. Eyagano Paul reports that the Central Management Committee and other subcommittees were inaugurated by the Commissioner for Transport, Dr. Godwin Ntokude.
Main Park, Mr. Samusa is the chairman. Mike Ayo is the chairman in Biabong Park. Ndifreke Mokpan is the chairman of Long Distance Park, while Francis Dan is the chairman in Ikorok Bay Park. For Nongoko Park, the chairman is Hilary Johnson, while Emmanuel George, Emmanuel Uman, and Daniete Pius are chairman, secretary, and operations leader 1 in Akwa Ibom State Central Transportation Monitoring Committee. Advisors for the monitoring committee include Comrade Uwem James. Inaugurating the Central Park Management and Akwa Ibom State Central Transportation Monitoring Committees, the Commissioner for Transport, Dr. Godwin Ntokude, said setting up new committees is aimed at allowing smooth operations in the parks. Dr. Ntokude, who took time to explain the duties of each committee, advised them to study situations at the parks, manage the parks properly in order to generate revenue for the government. The Commissioner advised the monitoring committee not to step on the toes of commuters or motorists, as well as indulge in criminal activities, but to work towards changing the psyche of park operators.
This brief event is only to underscore the ideology, the philosophy behind the 5-point agenda of His Excellency Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, one of which is political inclusion.
Also speaking, the representative of the sector commander of Federal Safety Corps, Mr. God's Gift advised the new committees to work towards bettering the lives of people and to the state in general.
You must try to accommodate other road users. You must try as if the other vehicle is carrying your mother and your father. And I can assure you that if you know that your mother or your father is in the next vehicle, you will surely drive with care.
Some chairmen of different committees promised to carry members along and work according to rules governing the parks.
See an appointment which has been very comprehensive. Out of persons you attach to us as advisors, we are going to listen to them. We are going to work hard.
Yagino Paul reporting.
The Akwa Ibom State Chapter of the Universal Peace Federation is commemorating the United Nations Day for Human Rights today at 10 o'clock in the morning. The event, which will take place at the Civil Service Auditorium, Idonga Secretariat Uyo, has as its theme our individual responsibilities towards peace. It is aimed at promoting a culture of peace through service and commitment to good governance. High point of the event will be the selection of people from Akwa Ibom State for induction as ambassadors of peace. You're still on to Channel 45 News at dawn. We now take a break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
With gratitude to God for a life well spent, the government of Akwa Ibom State announces the passing on to eternal glory of our illustrious son and a one-time governor of the old Cross River State, His Excellency Senator Dr. Chief Donald Etiebet, OFR. Late Senator Donald Etiebet served as a member of the Constituent Assembly 1977 to 1978. Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1979 to 83, Governor of the old Cross River State in 1983, and a member of the Constitutional Conference, 1994. There will be a service of songs on Wednesday, December 9, 2015, at the Apostolic Church, Ikodokoro Road, Abak, time 5 p.m., and service of songs on Thursday, December 10, 2015, at Ikodokoro Orgonam Local Government Area at 3 p.m., to be conducted by the Apostolic Church. His remains will lie in state at the Akwa Ibom State Executive Council Chambers on Friday, 11th December 2015 at 8 a.m. There will be a special court session at the Judiciary Headquarters, Uyo, in his honor at 9 a.m., while his remains will be committed to Mother Earth on the same day, Friday, December 11th, 2015, in his country home, Ikodokoro Orgonam Local Government Area, Akwa Ibom State, after a funeral service to be conducted by the Apostolic Church, Ikodokoro Field, Akwa Ibom State, at 10 a.m. Friends and sympathizers are invited to join us as we accord our elder statesman a befitting farewell. Mr. Anyekan Umana, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communications, Akwa Ibom State.
Great beauty and wonderful people. Here, Mary Slessor called home until she passed on to greater glory. Here, Lord Lugard lived and administered Nigeria. The hills roll like the waves, and the waves rise like the hills. A land named after God, Akwa Ibom State, the land of promise. Welcome to Akwa Ibom, the land of promise.
Nejo dereki to kanogum awasieto noro ajeneji ukara Akwa Ibom State asian mpa goiso ajeneji agwo ma de governor akana Cross River State. His Excellency Senator Dr. Chief Donald Dick Etiebet, OFR. Senator Donald Etiebet Akedegu for Ibe Constituent Assembly. Tongoke 1977 Tegwo 1978. Ade Senator Federal Republic of Nigeria. Tongoke 1979 Ategwo 1983. Ali the Governor Akana Cross River State K 1983. Ali ka Constitutional Conference K 1994. Ubunumpo mpa tongo akuru Wednesday nsenefion soke kefion duriba efiam ne nna ikwo kufo wasi the Apostolic Church usonwe korokuru ke bak ken kaneka itien nnuwi tosudo senefion du kefion duriba efiam nna ikwo de kikorepo koro onam kilu ubunumpo the Apostolic Church ena enimekpo mo ke Executive Council Chambers kuyo akuru Friday nsenefion duruke kefion duriba efiam ken kaneka itaita ubagase Ubunumpo sub ade ken kaneka usoke ke Judiciary Headquarters kuyo paso sinide ena ebenekpo mo ekeja ken duudi kilo mo ikorepo Kipeku Taroronam ke Akwa Ibom State kilo Ubunumpo ufawasi the Apostolic Church ikorekpene feel Akwa Ibom State ken kaneka duobu bagasen egem mufan nemenyene chimbom jali wana jaino agwoise jakajit akpatrupunu Honorable Aniekan Umana Commissioner Chelem Koba Ofiaretu along Yinutu.
So good to have you back. The head of civil service, Mrs. Ekere Bongopan, has charged staff of the Unified Local Government Service to exhibit an exemplary work attitude if they must make progress in their assignment. Mrs. Apan gave the charge during the 2015 pre-promotion examination seminar held in Uyo. The head of civil service urged them to develop themselves to handle work demands, pointing out that as civil servants, they must not fall short of intellectual demands of the service. She said they should not be found wanting and advised them to key into the Dakada philosophy of the present administration.
And this journey will span through your service years. Unwittingly, you have come to the bridge where you cannot cross until you swim through the rivers of the rules, tenets, and principles of the service.
The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Victor Antai, stressed the need for staff of the Unified Local Government Service to constantly update their knowledge. He said the seminar is important for the participants as it will impact knowledge in addition to ensuring their success at the promotion examination.
It is important to let you know that the aim of this pre-promotion seminar is to prepare officers intending to write their promotion examination to be well prepared, to be well vested in what is expected of them and what they expect in their examinations.
The Permanent Secretary, Local Government Service Commission, Elder Wisdom Eko, commended Governor Dumi Manuel and Head of Civil Service for facilitating the seminar. Elder Eko explained that the seminar is aimed at preparing participants for promotion examination, adding that those who will do well in the examination will be promoted. The State Chief Judge, Justice Stephen Okun, has described the former governor of the erstwhile Cross River State, Chief Donald Etiebet, as an elder statesman who was committed to the unity of the state and laity. Justice Okun was speaking at Orowanam when he led members of the bench to commiserate with their family over the death of Chief Donald Dick Etiebet. Represented by Justice Godwin Abraham, Justice Okun further described the late former governor and elder of the Apostolic Church as a humble, peaceable lawyer who contributed to the development of the state. He prayed God to give the family the fortitude to bear the laws. Responding on behalf of the family, the eldest son of the deceased, Mr. Nyekan Etiebet, thanked the Chief Judge and judges for coming to commiserate with the family. Mr. Etiebet described his late father as a humble, honest, and good person. The management of Rickman Group of Schools in Ikorekbene has organized a Christmas and end-of-year party for pupils in nursery and primary school section. Livingstone Daniel reports that the event took place at the school field.
The
The end of the year party is one event in school's calendar which pupils in schools usually look forward to, as it affords them the opportunity to unwind and have fun away from academic work. In his remarks, the proprietor of Ritman Group of Schools, Senator Emmanuel Iboresian, said the party is organized by the school management for pupils to unwind after rigorous academic work. He thanked God for preserving the life of the pupils, teachers, and the management of the school for 1 year. Senator Iboresian said Ritman Schools is committed to providing sound child education, noting that the school has won many laurels across the country and pledged the school determination to continue to maintain its academic standard.
You will all recall that Ritman Group of Schools is the best in this planet Earth. Ritman Nursery Primary School have won several laurels in several competitions across the country.
The Deputy Headmistress of Ritman Nursery and Primary School, Mrs. Kaiti Roberts, said the school will continue to forge ahead with its objective of child upbringing. The school PTA chairman, Mr. Niebedakman, on his part, appealed to parents and guardians to continue to patronize Ritman Group of Schools.
We are celebrating our children and not celebrating Christ, because Christ is the reason for the season.
But all those are planning to go to see what our own children can do.
The pupils entertain their parents, guardians, and other guests with varieties of show, including songs, drama, recitation, and taekwondo display. In an interview, some pupils described the event as memorable.
We are organizing the party very well.
The party is so amazing.
Livingstone Daniel reporting.
The state branch of the Nigerian Environmental Society has pledged its readiness to partner the state government and its environmental agencies in keeping the state clean and free from infectious diseases. The pledge was made during a Thanksgiving service of the society held at Christ for the World Mission, Uyo. Details of the service is here presented.
The executive and members of the state branch of the Nigerian Environmental Society, led by its chairperson, Professor Comfort Aloysius Etok, went to church to thank God for keeping them alive and for the successful conduct of its election, which she emerged as the chairperson. Professor Etok said success comes from God and therefore charged all to put God first in their life for them to excel. While congratulating the state government for initiating the Dakata project, which has served as a springboard to raise Akwa Ibom people to greater heights, Professor Comfort Etok pledged to protect the ecosystem.
87, the federal government of Nigeria made the Nigerian Environmental Society to be the vanguard of the environment, of the Nigerian environment. And so we are the watchdog of the environment.
Earlier in a sermon, the Reverend Joe Efiong charged all to keep their environment clean, as the throne of God Almighty is holy and clean. The Reverend Efiong said, as death stains our cloth and make it unfit, so is sin to our soul, which prevents us from God and His goodness.
Some of us are suffering from what we cannot explain. Things that we have not bargained for. Mostly, some of us tried, especially on those things that we think we can help ourselves. Yes, we can help ourselves.
The Thanksgiving service featured songs by choir and presentation of chairs to the children arm of the church by the Nigerian Environmental Society.
Nigeria is set to host the ECOWAS summit next week. Nigerian Senate Committee on Finance asked to further review the 2016-2018 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper submitted by President Muhammadu Buhari for consideration and approval. These and other stories in the national and foreign news segment with Mercy Ekere.
President Muhammadu Buhari has agreed to host a summit of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and heads of governments next week. The summit will focus on vital issues bordering on security and the economy, as well as seek the cooperation of the sub-region in fighting terrorism and illegal activities in the Gulf of Guinea, which undermines the West African economy. Earlier in September, President Buhari hosted an extraordinary summit of the ECOWAS with the violence and unrest in Burkina Faso as the main focus of the summit. After over an hour of debate over the 2016 to 2017 and 2018 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework (MTEF) and the Fiscal Strategy Paper (FSP) submitted to the Nigerian Senate by President Muhammadu Buhari for consideration and approval, Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki has referred the MTF and the FSP to Senate Committee on Finance for further legislative input. The Finance Committee is expected to report to the Senate on Tuesday, December 15, 2015. The Senate President added that the Senate must approve the MTEF before the 2016 budget proposal can be considered. As part of plenary, 6 bills were presented for first readings. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has been named the 2015 Time Magazine Person of the Year. The title is awarded annually to an individual who has influenced the year's news for either positive or negative reasons and is chosen by the editors of the influential magazine. Chancellor Merkel is the first woman to clinch Time's title in 29 years.
You can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45UU or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. And now to end the news, another look at the top stories. The State Deputy Governor, Mr. Moses Ekpo, challenged the Catholic Laity Council of Nigeria to reach out to the less privileged in the society. He gave the challenge to the council members of Catholic laity who visited him in Government House. We also brought a report that the Ibuna Road is to be completed by June next year. That's our package this Thursday morning. Thanks so much for being there. Have a fun-filled day. Good morning. Here is an announcement. On behalf of the Registered Trustees of the Universal Peace Federation Akwa Ibom State Chapter, we have the pleasure of inviting you to its 2015 end-of-year program. The occasion is commemorating the United Nations Day for Human Rights. The theme for this year is Our Individual Responsibilities Towards Peace. It is aimed at promoting a culture of